I've been training calisthenics for 16 years and I still do push-ups. These basic bodyweight exercises should not be skipped. When done properly, they build serious physical and mental capacity. It's just so enjoyable to push yourself to the limit. And as you're going, you want to stop. Your body's screaming. I just always think, okay, one more, a couple more, catch your breath, keep going. And it's a really enjoyable aspect of high volume, high rep calisthenics that I don't get from other forms of fitness. If I'm doing something that's really heavy, like a bench press, amazing exercise. It just doesn't tick that same box. It doesn't scratch that same itch of just raising my mental toughness from an endurance perspective. That glorious pump, it just feels so good. And I only really get this when I'm doing high rep type of work. It's about getting all that blood engorged into the pecs, into the triceps. It feels awesome. Now, you don't need to get a pump for a workout to be effective. You don't need a pump to build muscle. It's just a nice proxy for your effort. And the sensation for me has always been addictive. I've loved this ever since I was a teenager. And I think that's what really draws me. One aspect of high rep training is I love the sensation. I like feeling like I need a sports bra after I've finished my set, because I'm getting some double D action here, some watermelon pecs. This is one of those small drivers that makes you consistent and makes you want to do your workouts. So despite the pump not being some amazing metric of success in a workout, if it's fun for you, you actually enjoy it. If you're crazy like me, then keep pumping those push-ups. I'm pretty gassed. I look cooked. I'm leaving this running here just so you can see what happens afterwards. You get tired, I get tired. It's just where you should be working. How you manipulate your rest also matters for endurance training. If you really want to get better at working under fatigue, then I recommend shorter rest periods, 60 to 90 seconds, just so that you can get better at going again, repeat effort, even when you're tired. Alternatively, if you want to maximize performance and how many reps you can do each set, then I'd recommend a longer rest. 3 to 5 minutes is a really good zone to make sure that you're fresh enough to do that next set of push-ups and give it your all. Now, don't get it twisted. Just because you're doing high reps, don't replace quantity for quality. That is such a common mistake. People will be doing, 50 push-ups, and they're these really fast, short range of motion. The technique is horrible. I want you to do high reps, but don't trade quality for it. That's the real discipline, and that's what's going to transform your body. I'm talking full range of motion, dominant tempo, consistent technique from the first to the last rep. You're not adding reps for the sake of it with diminishing quality. You want to have high standards for yourself. Keep those standards. Have them even when you're tired, even when fatigue's coming through, and then you're adding reps with that quality. That's what it's about. There's a misbelief that you can't build muscle, gain hypertrophy from high rep ranges. The science is quite clear that anything up to 50 reps can still make you grow, given that you're training with enough intensity. The most muscle growth happens from those final 5-ish reps in a set, and these are called the stimulating or effective reps. These are the ones that are going to build muscle. And what's important here is your intensity relative to failure. If you're doing a set of 30 push-ups, but you can do 50 before you can't do any more, that means you're not going to grow because you're not close enough proximity-wise to failure. So that's the key thing. The high rep sets will build muscle, but you got to be pushing them really hard. It's just going to take a little bit more time under tension before you've reached that threshold of fatigue. You're up to those final few push-ups that are actually effective, and those are the ones that really count. The biggest benefit of high reps is building up your endurance as well as your work capacity. High reps, they're basically teaching your body how to keep going even when you're tired. As that fatigue builds up, you have the ability to handle it and keep pushing through the discomfort. The true value is you can just do more. your workouts can be longer, you can handle more exercises, and you can also do just a greater volume of work overall, which if your goal is to increase your endurance, it's also going to be really helpful if you can just fit more training in. From a recovery perspective, I've noticed a massive transformation when I do high reps consistently. I find that when I return to a similar movement for a lower rep range, that I'm actually able to handle more work and my body tends to feel better overall. So the takeaway here is if you only ever do low reps or only ever do moderate reps, you're going to miss out on something that is gained from high reps. If you want to be well-rounded, you got to spend some time doing everything. What I enjoy, I guess, about push-ups is how it teaches you breathing during a long set. So if you come from strength training, you can just do that Valsalva maneuver, hold your breath, increase peak abdominal tension, and your set's over within 20, 30 seconds. If you're training for higher reps, you can't just hold your breath. You're going to pass out, get lightheaded. It's just not going to work. So you naturally learn consistent breathing through the diaphragm, how much tension you actually need throughout your body to handle a long set. And I find that this is really helpful because it happens naturally. Expect to improve your motor control. This is basically just technique, coordination, and awareness of your body. By the sheer fact that you're doing tons of push-ups, you're going to improve super quick with how your body feels and functions during that push-up, because exercise is a skill. You need to learn it, you need to practice it, and just put simply, the more reps you do, the better you're going to get. I'm an old school dude. I like the basics. I like building up a foundation of these high rep push-ups because it serves you so well for the future of advanced calisthenics skills. The people I see that don't have a foundation of push-up strength, endurance, muscle mass in those prime movers, they tend to struggle more on other exercises like skills like handstands, handstand push-ups, dips, planches. It prepares you for the more fun stuff to come. You can't skip your homework. It is really motivating when your rep numbers go up. You're going to start this high rep journey and you might be at 20 push-ups before you fail. Within a few months, you'll be smashing out 30, 40, yes, even 50 reps. And I've thought about this with push-ups and why they're such a popular exercise, because we can all do it. It's kind of like jogging, going for a run. You put your shoes on, you get to work. With the push-up, it's the same thing. You don't need machines. Your body is the machine. You get on the floor, you grit your teeth, you push yourself, you rest, you repeat, you try and beat your previous numbers. Then after a while, you're going to look back on your training log and think to yourself, wow, I've really transformed my body. And it's just because of this exercise. It's time tested, always there. It's not going to close on you like a gym. It's not going to be unavailable if you're traveling or life gets busy. That push-up, it's always been there for me, and I know it'll always be there for you. The push-up, it's going to expose any weakness that you have, and this is highlighted even more for high reps. If you're unable to control your shoulder blades, you're getting scapular winging, or you're losing shoulder position, it's more about the scapular stabilizers, your rotator cuff. And with the push-up, because your shoulder blades are free to move through retraction and protraction, you're actually going to enhance your shoulder stability. This is something that you're not going to get from a bench press where your shoulder blades are fixed. The result of this is you're going to have a more robust, stable shoulder that is able to produce more force in this pressing pattern. You're not going to have as much pain, and your body's going to feel better when pressing. If you want stronger shoulders that are stable and that is going to translate to better performance, high reps is the way to go, because these areas, they're a bit more postural muscles and they require a longer set in order to actually fatigue them and adapt them to improve. So if you only do heavy sets or only do moderate reps, you're not really going to get this benefit. Something I'm guilty to admit is I tend to skip over my core work. I don't do enough for this area. I'm a little bit lazy. So when I can do a exercise like a push-up where it gives me core strength for free when I'm doing high reps, you better believe I'm going to do that. We're building up anti-extension, anterior core strength. And instead of having to do planks, we're doing a moving plank in the push-up, and you're going to get some benefit without having to do a ton of direct core work. So for the lazy like me, you are benefiting from doing your calisthenics movements because it is integrated into it. Not saying that's the right thing. I think you should do your core homework. Do as I say, not as I do. Bodyweight exercises for high reps are epic for improving your connective tissue and tendon health. When done correctly and patiently progressing over time, expect your shoulders, wrists, elbows, the joints, all the tendons around there as well to get more resilient, adapt, and be able to handle hard training. Getting that blood flow there and improving your tissue tolerance really goes a long way for sustainable training. Now the key here, I know you're excited after watching this video, you're going to want to do a workout of 300, 400, 500 push-ups. Just relax. If you go from this to this straight away, that's a recipe for disaster for anyone. When you adapt tendons and connective tissues, it's a patient, progressive process. Gradually add reps within a workout. Gradually add reps between workouts. Many of you aren't going to listen to this and then wonder why your body feels beat up. But just remember Danny telling you this tip, because the ones that are focused, patient, and progressive will win the long game. In a world with all these fancy exercises, different training methods, calisthenics stands the test of time. Keep on learning by watching this video over here, and I'll help you.